Difficult this week, really made difficult with van issues, quiet on the CX. Just had to make the most of it. Oh, and I got some details of possible cheaper insurance for people too. Good morning everybody, David here, Anvil Logistics, back from the old holiday. As you can see, I've not got a brilliant tan because I tend to spend most of my time in the shade, pool, bar, occasionally beach. And we had a great time, really enjoyed it. It was nice and relaxing. But we're back and we've got to get some work done. So I've started today with a booking. I got myself a booking. And at the moment, I'm currently just pulled into Hartshead Services, which is just near Bradford and Leeds, because as you can see across from there, there's a Starbucks, and I am a sucker for Starbucks. I love it. I love a latte with an extra shot. So I'm going to nip in there in a minute and grab one because I'm a little bit early anyway. The booking I've got is an ADR booking, which is going to York, and I bid for this on Friday, and I accounted for the mileage from my house to Leeds and then on to York. And I actually was going to do this job on the Friday. I wasn't intending to work Friday. It popped up and I thought, oh, I'll do that. And I'd bid for it, as I say, with my minimum price for ADR plus the mileage to Leeds to pick it up. And then they rang me quite a while after a bid on it to say, oh, can you do it? And I said, yeah, but the timings were a bit tight. But I set off. And I just got to the motorway, the M62, when they rang and said, oh, I'm sorry, it's cancelled. What's your, cancellation charge? I thought, well, I've only gone a couple of miles. So I said, my minimum's £40. I said, fine, we'll edit the job. However, it is going on Monday. So do you want to do it Monday? Same price. So I thought, well, that'll be cracking. That's a good start for me. So that's what I'm doing today. So I got 40 quid for Friday. So I earned money on Friday where I wasn't planning to. Not a lot, obviously. And I've got this to start me off. And I should end up in York probably between 9 and 10. And York's not a prolific area. But if you're going to get anything out of York, your better chance of it is earlier in the morning. So I'll do the job to York. I put a journey in, see if anything comes up. If it does, and I'll bid on it. Now today, Monday, I do like to rehearse with the guys from the band. So I'm not looking for anything long distance. If I get something heading back Manchester way, then I'm going to jump on that, and that'll be it. It'll be a really early finish. Or I'll do Manchester way and then do a local Manchester job. Either way, that will get me enough money for the day anyway, and I'll be back in plenty of time to get the old rehearsal done. So fingers crossed for that one. But it's just to say, I'm back now. I'm back from my break, and it's time to start earning some money and make up for the time that I've had off. And I'll update you in the week to see how we're doing this week. I haven't got any other bookings at all this week, but whilst I was away, I've had a couple of people reach out to me with the potential for work, and there was a couple of answering machine messages and a couple of emails. So I've responded to those, and I'll wait for them to get back to me. A couple of them seem quite promising. One of them is an ADR work, which has been reasonably regular if it comes off, and the other one is non-ADR but a good paying company who don't operate on the CX. So we'll fingers crossed for those, and we'll see how they do. But otherwise this week it will be using the CX, and of course now that I'm back, I'm going to start marketing, is that too strong a word, in earnest, to try and generate some more work of my own. I didn't want to do it before I went away. Sorry about that, the bloody phone rang, and it rang on the phone that I'm actually using to record, so I had to He just cut off, basically. Anyway, so I don't know where I was up to that, but basically, I'm going to start marketing in earnest because, of course, we're going away for a couple of weeks. I wasn't in a position where, if I did get a response, I could deal with it. So now I'm back properly and more focused. I'll be concentrating on trying to get some more work, but I will keep you updated on that. I've also got an update on the complaint I made to the CX about the lithium battery job, but I'll record that later in the week and let you know about that. Catch you all soon. Thank you. Hello again. It's Tuesday now, Tuesday 3rd of October, and it is at the moment 1:05, and I am on the M74 heading north to Glasgow. I'm taking a load, one pallet, not all that heavy, 250 kilograms, to recycling centre in Glasgow. I got this job off the CX this morning, which was a bit dead this morning on the CX, and I am extremely surprised that I got this job because I have bid for this at £1.30 a mile. One of those jobs that where you think, well, I'll bid for it, but I don't particularly want to do it. But if I get it, I get it. And I did get it. Maybe the fact that I was literally, 2 miles away from it, from where I live, and my feedback's pretty decent, and probably needed to get it up ASAP. I hadn't had a job up to that point. In truthfulness, I was feeling a little bit rough this morning. Ever since I've come back from Egypt, I've carried with me a little bit of a stomach bug, and I felt a little bit squiffy this morning. I thought, I won't bid for anything just in case. I didn't want to take any chances until nature had taken its course. And when nature did take its course and I felt a little bit better, I've almost written the day off because it was getting on a bit. It was probably 10:30, 11. And I've ended up getting this, which is, it's not a good idea to go to Scotland later because the chances of getting a return load are fairly slim. So we shall see what happens when I get there. I put a journey on, and I have bid on 2 jobs on the way up, both at backload prices to come back down, none of which I've got. Now, with it at £1.30 a mile, there is sufficient money in the job to come back. And I have been bidding for work for tomorrow as well, but no success as yet. It's quite early yet, though, for work for tomorrow. I have got something else lined up now with another company. I've just got to finalise a few things with them. Just some insurance details of mine I've got to confirm. Sent them through last night. I've had to send a passport type photograph to them because they need to make me a pass. And once all that's through, I hopefully should be getting some work off them. I was put onto this company by a friend of mine, and he's recommended me. They are quite a good company to work for. I don't use the CX, and it's pretty decent paying work. Goes all over the place. It's not multi-drop. It's all same day deliveries. So with a bit of luck, I'll be picking up some work from that as well. Anyway, we'll see. So I don't know when I'll get a job out of Scotland. It's notoriously difficult to do. I have done it in the past, but I'm going up a bit later than I would like. If I can get something for tomorrow morning, then I consider staying over. Again, because there's a bit of money in this job to pay for a cheap travel lodge or something like that. I'll see when I get up there. I'm about an hour or so away from, oh no, that's a bit optimistic. About an hour and a half away from dropping off. Now, I did mention to you that I had a response. If you watched my videos previously, I had that issue with the ADR job where the company had put a job that should have been ADR and they put it as standard work. And when I got there, they wouldn't pay the extra for ADR and had a bit of a disagreement with them. And I raised a ticket with the CX, and quite frankly, It's the first time I've ever raised a ticket, and I wasn't all that confident anything will happen. But they did respond to me. They responded whilst I was on holiday. I got an email. And I basically said that they shouldn't be putting work out like this. And even if their customer hadn't told them that it was hazardous goods, I told them they were hazardous goods, and they still insisted on this job going out anyway. Cancelled with me, told me I wasn't going to get a cancellation charge because I'd refused it. And I submitted an invoice to them anyway for a call-out cancellation charge, minimum price of £40. Didn't think I'd get paid from it, but thought, well, if I don't put it in, I'll get nothing. And the CX basically responded by saying, thank you for bringing it to our attention. We will be speaking to the shipper concerned to warn them of their future conduct concerning the transportation of hazardous goods. Please advise us if your invoice doesn't get paid for your call-out charge, and we will look into that should that arise. Now, it's a 30-day end-of-month invoice, so I'm not likely to chase that up until the end of this month. So that's quite surprising that they've actually done something, which is better than nothing. So I would urge anybody who, if you see jobs posted on the CX that are not fit for purpose, where they're sending hazardous loads out, as an example, or they're doing other things like pick one of our drivers up and drop him off in London that you're not insured to do, anything that shouldn't be on there, then you should raise a ticket and report it. Because the more people that do this, the more they'll have to take notice. Anyway, so the invoice has gone out. I will see if they pay that at the end of the month. They have told me to also leave feedback regarding this, which I will do if they do not pay me. I'm going to make sure I get paid first. And the reason for that is that I didn't realise, but I have another job that I did for the same shipper that is due to be paid the middle of this month. So rather than risk that not being paid, I'll hold back on the feedback for now, and then I'll put the feedback on. I'll probably end up getting blocked by them, but is that really a company I want to work for in future anyway? So it's good to see that the CX, although in a very limited way, have actually taken some kind of action. Anyway, yesterday wasn't a bad day. I managed to get my ADR job to just north of Wetherby. Then I took a job from North Leeds to Warrington, and I picked up a cheeky little job from Warrington to Trafford Park. So yesterday, earnings-wise, wasn't too bad. Today, if I just do this one job, it will be okay. Not brilliant, but okay. And I've got nothing for tomorrow, but we'll fill you in on how I did towards the latter end of the week. I do like the drive up to Scotland, though, I've got to admit. It is nice. And so far, so good. Montezuma doesn't appear to be coming back for any more revenge on me, stomach-wise. So maybe the little bit of Egypt I brought back with me has now gone. Catch you all soon. Wednesday the 4th of October, just after 5 p.m. Yet another empty drive home from Scotland. I didn't get anything back yesterday, and I whilst driving back looking for work to bid on the next morning, didn't get jack. It has been very poor this week on the CX, really quiet. And then this morning, didn't have anything, so obviously got up at the same time as a wife, sat down, doing some paperwork, bringing my books up to date, etc., whilst looking at the feed and bidding on stuff. And I looked on I had the desktop version open, and I looked, and it was 8:45 a.m. And at a time when it's going to start getting busy, there was less than 300 jobs available nationwide. So it's quiet. It is really quiet, difficult. So the jobs that are popping up, you've got more rivals bidding for them. And in the end, I thought, well, I'm not bidding myself down to the ground. I'll just keep bidding at a decent price, and figured that I'll have to do something with a bit of distance maybe. And I ended up getting another job up to Scotland, this time to I'm not too sure how you pronounce it, but it sounds a bit Hawaiian. Aloha. I think it's Aloha, actually. Which was a long wheelbase job. It was 2 crates of pumps, took it up to a place there. Set my journey. Having a look all the way up to see if there was anything I could perhaps backload back down, but it was a bit late, really. Ideally, if you're going up to Scotland or somewhere distant, in an ideal world, you'd be getting up there before lunchtime. I didn't get there till 3:30. And I thought, well, if I can look for something possibly going back down south and consider staying over tonight somewhere. And there wasn't really anything on offer. It's really, really, really poor. The only one that came up that interested me was a small van job. It was advertised as a backload, and it was going from Glasgow at 9 a.m. in the morning to Oldham. And they wanted a backload price doing that because it could be delivered anytime up to 5 p.m. But I thought, well, if I get that job, that'll pay for my hotel tonight, all the fuel, and I'll be in Oldham for lunchtime, and I'll, do a couple of jobs in the afternoon. But I put a bid in, what I consider to be a quick, cheap bid, and I'll tell you what it was. To get that job, I thought, if I bid 60 pence a mile, surely they'll give it me. And I didn't hear anything. So I put a message out saying, look, you let me know, because otherwise I'm driving back. And in the end, I rang them, and they just simply said, I'll just get the bids together, we'll let you know if you're successful. So basically, go away. And then next thing you know is it's sold. I didn't get it. 60 pence a mile, I didn't get that job. So what has someone bid for that? I was going at that rate to get home as a backload. Even then it went against the grain. So I give up. I'm driving home empty. Now I got £1.30 a mile for this job up here. I think it was 250 odd miles. So I'll basically today make a wage, pay for the fuel, pay my running costs with a tiny little bit over. That's it. So I will not make a loss on this job. I will make money and make my wages, but there's not much over. So, but saying that, there wasn't much work to bid on locally anyway, so you might as well do a longer job and make a little bit out of it, mightn't you? I've still got the feed on. I've set a journey. I mean, it's just after 5, and I'm on the M74. I've got my eye on the feed. You never know, something might occur, but I seriously doubt it. And I want to try and get back to catch the match. City, who recently got in the habit of losing. So let's see if they can break that habit tonight. I might just make it back for 80. Anyway, I'll catch you all at the end of the week roundup. Right, it's Friday now, 6th of July, and welcome to another episode of Could My Week Get Any Shitter? As you can see, the bonnet's up and the van is in Morrison's car park in Reading. And we have had an overheating problem again. And now, since the last time I've had problems, I've always carried plenty of water. And this is very, very similar to the problems that befell me before, and that was water pump. And it's had 2. And it's looking like it might be another water pump again. We're losing fluid. Warning came on the dashboard, immediately stopped. I've topped it up. When I took the lid off, it was under a lot of pressure. And now I've topped it up. And I am now just going to put this back on. I'm going to let the engine cool right down. I don't, if I can help it, want to call down breakdown, because after last time where I waited about 6 years, I want to try and limp it home if I can. It got all the way down here. When it went, I was on the way to Reading. I topped it up. I've managed to get there. I've just got here and double checked it. It needed a little tiny drop just to bring it back up again. I tell you what, this van will be the death of me on the water. Everything else is great, but it's going in on Tuesday for a service, so it looks like it's going in for a pressure test as well now. I'm going to try and limp it home. Trouble is, it's nearly rush hour. I'm in Reading. It's a 4-hour drive home, if the traffic's kind. I don't think that it'll last. I'll end up stopping a few times. I've got plenty of water. I'm just going to limp it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to buy some grub from Morrison's, I think. I'm going to stay here for an hour, let everything cool down, maybe let traffic die down a touch, and then we're going to try and limp home and see how we do. It's not been the greatest of week this week for me. It is what it is, but this just puts the icing on the cake, doesn't it? I'll put everything back together and then just let everything cool down. Oh, I tell you what, I'm fed up. Right, it's 6:20 now. We've been going for about an hour, and at the moment, fingers crossed it's okay. I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing. Keeping it in top gear, maybe around 50, 55. Doesn't seem to be giving me any problems at the moment. I keep an eye on the temperature gauge all the time as we drive back. It is what it is. I could, of course, have just rung the breakdown services, but after the last time, it was about 8 hours before I finally got picked up, and then they only took it to the next services, and then in the end, a load more messing around and ended up getting a hire car home. And it was just a complete mission. If the van's driving, if it's not completely failed, but it's just leaking, then I'll be able to get it home. I'm not going to do any work in it. It goes in for a service on Tuesday. So, obviously, they can do a pressure test on it. It might be a leak somewhere else. I don't know. Could be. It had a bit of a leak before, and then I was told that it possibly could have been the header tank cap because it was a bit worn, the rubber seal on it. So I bought a new one of those. But anyway, it is what it is. It seems to be a terrible Achilles heel for these bloody vehicles, to say the least. That's a nice sunset. So I'm not going to get home till late now. So let's give you a bit of review of what happened, obviously, in the week. As we know, I did that second run to Scotland, didn't get anything back. Obviously, I got a reasonable amount per mile to cover it. And I bid on and picked up an ADR job for yesterday morning. That was a case of drive to Leeds, collect the goods, then drive to another place in Leeds to collect the air freight paperwork and take it to Manchester Airport. It was, for the mileage that I did, a very well paid job. And I dropped off at Manchester Airport around lunchtime, just before lunchtime in fact, and started bidding for a few jobs. Thought, well, I don't need anything major now. I have a fairly good amount of money with that job. I didn't get one, and to be honest with you, I got fed up of bidding, and I buggered off home and I went home early. So I got an early finish with not financially an ideal day's take. It was 160 quid, but you know, better than nothing. And it was me just getting fed up of bidding and getting undercut and blah de blah. I just thought, no, it hasn't been busy this week, let's face it. So I just bid for work for today last night, and I threw loads of bids in. Now I knew from adding up my money I could have done with a decent take today. I needed 200 quid minimum to make my minimum target. And I threw lots of quotes in, figuring I'd either get it by doing bitty jobs, but that didn't seem to be working for me at the moment. Or do one big one at a reasonable rate. And I eventually got one. I got a job from Bradford to Horsham, collected at 7:30 this morning. And again, I got 130 a mile, which again, by CX standards, is pretty decent for a long wheelbase van. As it turns out, it was only one pallet because one couldn't go. And it was a Euro pallet, and it must have weighed about 80 kilos. But by the by, that's the way it is. And Horsham's a fair old drag. It's about 260 miles. So you can do the maths on that. And I thought, right, I'll try and get something back, but it's Friday. I don't particularly want to hang about. But when I delivered in Horsham, and then I got the old water checked, and it seemed a bit low, topped it up, was getting a bit concerned about it. A job was on going from Crawley, I think it was Crawley, which wasn't too far away, 30 minutes away, to Reading, which I thought, well, that is a little bit towards my way home. And it was 50 miles, and I got £80 for it, which the long wheelbase van job, which I was really surprised about. But I don't know, is it Friday afternoon? It's a bit busier. Well, I wasn't questioning it, but I thought, well, that £80 covering my juice more than covers the juice. And it was on the way, having picked up from a hire depot, going to another one of their branches, that the engine did actually show as overheating. And I pulled over, lifted the thing off, and it whooshed out. Topped it back up, and obviously did that delivery. And then I went to that Morrison's and filled the van up, and as you can see, I had the lid off, topping it up a bit more just in case. But it's the kind of same symptoms that were happening with the walk. Anyway, we'll find out that. So that's the week. Money-wise, I've taken £1,300. So I'm telling you what I took to give you an idea. My minimum I want to take is 1,200 really. 1,000 I can get away with. 1,200 means I make a bit of profit on the week. Taking 1,300 means a bit more profit, but it also covers a bit of those dead miles I've had. So it's not been brilliant, but it's been acceptable. But I won't get home till late tonight. But that obviously I've had to wait. So one last thing I wanted to mention: insurance. Now I'm not a sponsored channel. I don't endorse or sponsor any products whatsoever. The only reason why I'm mentioning this is that a good friend of mine, he had his insurance with the one that the CX do. Is it Business Choice Direct? I was with them last year. He got his renewal, and he thought that he could probably get a better deal. And he did. And he saved almost £1,000 by shopping around. And he got one with this company. Now, I'm not saying that this company will be the best for everybody. I did have some notes somewhere about it, but of course, in true professional style, I've lost them. But the company concerned are called A-Plan. A-Plan. So A and then Plan. You can look them up. I think they're based in London somewhere. There's a guy called Luke who does the hire and reward insurance for them. So you can look them up. If you've got your insurance due or you want to get a quote, it's worth checking with them as well. I'm only saying this because my pal Lee has saved a good few quid on it. He also asked them if they would cover ADR because he's thinking of taking his ADR license. And they quoted him an extra 300 odd quid to add the ADR cover. And they've confirmed that in writing from as well. So I'll be giving them a try next year. So I'm just putting it out there for you. A-Plan, guy called Luke. Look them up if you're interested. And they might work for you, they might not. As I say, there's nothing in this for me. All I try and do is to help people with advice and point them, if I can, the right way. If there's a bargain to be had, hopefully it'll work for you. A few people have mentioned on the chat group about it. I did actually mention it to somebody on there. Give it a try. A-Plan. I'm sure there's others you can try. Like they always say on their TV programs, other insurances are available. So that's it for the week for me. I won't be working Monday. The van's going in Tuesday. I'll know more about its situation then. What this has done, it's postponed me getting this other work because I was going to get a job for them on Monday as well. But I've had to tell them not to give it me because I don't want to let them down just in case. So that's not a good start, really, is it? But they did appreciate my honesty. And like I said, if I take a job off you and let you down, it doesn't look good, does it? I'd sooner be up front. So let's get this van working right. And we'll take it from there. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend. I hope that you've all done well this week. I found it very difficult, I will admit, although I've made money, haven't I? And next week, I knew it wasn't going to be a Tiger Week because I knew I was off the road Tuesday for definite anyway. And then we'll see beyond that. Have a great time. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps the videos get out there. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, please do so. It is free of charge. Doesn't cost you anything. All it does is lets you know when the videos come out, etc. And it does help the channel. Take care, everybody. I shall keep you posted. Thank you.